for a while now. Derek Marshall being someone who is well decorated in music, judge people, crop over things and the leader of the big band, G-Syndicate and thing. Then them 6 voices that sound so sweet. That's actually be sponsoring the Senate podcast and everything. And then we have Neil Hoyt, who's been doing video productions and podcast productions for years. He's been the fingers behind many boards that has brought forth a lot of voices that you guys love to hear. And these men, for some reason or the other, I ain't sure why, come together to do something called the Senate podcast. I want these 2 men, these quality gentlemen.
Oh wow.
To first say good morning to Barbados. Good morning, Barbados, Neil.
Good morning, Barbados, everybody. Thanks, guys, for having us.
Sweet. And Derek, sir, good morning to you. Tell Barbados good morning, Derek.
Here.
We here.
Make your heart from here.
Wait. Who wants all of this?
Yeah, you don't like.
Production going on.
What is happening?
I wanted this thing to be easy. We have a question here. We do our research, we prepare our stuff, but there's one important question that an influencer inside of the script. And he wanted to know, basically, how does it feel to have come from and attended the best secondary school in Barbados?
I know that influencer, he's a very good man. I mean, he medically is already, but he's a very good man.
Oh my God.
I know, I understand. DJ, I know you went to
other places.
What's that? I mean, everybody is good fun.
We appreciate it.
You get down to the nitty-gritty of things, man.
For sure.
Now, if somebody was to butt up on the Senate podcast on a Tuesday or a Thursday on YouTube, right? And just butt up on it, I ain't got a clue what's going on. I want one of you guys to give me one quick sentence to describe what exactly they're currently experiencing.
Well, on the Senate podcast, we are Caribbean-based podcast, right? We give our perspective as men living in this space in life, love, relationships, work, health, everything. And I think that we, when I setting up these streams, right? I gotta put a designation if it's like, health, whatever, if it's comedy, entertainment. It is social issues. We deal with social issues from the perspective of 2 Caribbean, Barbadian black men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's you have anything else to answer?
No, I think the esteemed colleague covered it pretty well.
Esteemed colleague.
Yeah, that's what we do. We look at stuff from the perspective of 2 Caribbean men, but because the Caribbean is, a little smaller than it would normally be, given social media and all that, what we do is we use stories from North America and further afield so that it don't really mash up body corns and people don't get too upset. So we're looking to talk in mind the business point.
We can get trouble with that already too. Talking about locally, sorry.
It can still filter back home though, because even though the geographical location is different, this body might be eating, I don't know, a raspberry, but we don't hate eating mangoes. At the end of the day, the content of what happened in the same thing.
That's correct.
So it can still work. You know what I mean? What encountered you to work together on a production like this? Like it can be easy producing content consistently together, and somebody who's a content creator who's produced content every week. So how does this work for you guys?
It can be a little taxing, particularly more mentally than anything else. Because we do a live stream for about an hour and a half.
Wow.
To 2 hours,
Yeah, to 2 hours every Tuesday and Thursday.
Twice a week?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And then a lot of times when we shut that down, we then stay back and then we record the shorts that you see on Monday and Friday.
Yeah.
So sometimes, because we got to be there before the show starts at 8, so we'll be there at 7:30, and we come off at 11. And we do that pretty often. Pretty often. The struggle is not the the content, finding the content.
Content finds us.
And shout out to all the people that
for
contribute stuff.
sure. Yeah.
Because we get stuff every day.
Y'all want to shout out anybody by name, or you don't want to get anybody in trouble?
Man, the senators, man, we got Kevin, Carrie-Ann, well, two Kevins, Carrie-Ann. We have Dion, the president of the 237 ladies, you know, Italia.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, we got Cherish, we got
Marlon both there.
Aston, yeah, I said what I said.
Big up Fox, man.
Correct.
Yeah.
They say
So-
what they said.
So we have good followers. We got a nice fan base. Stephen Wu. Yes, Stephen Wu, who paid $237 in Chinese one day on a date. But anyhow, that's another story for another time. But yeah, we have our fan base, our audience. Let me say fan base. Our audience is not like super large or anything like that, but we have some people that genuinely watch us, not only because they support us on what we do, but genuinely get advice and stuff like that. We heard that we have some youngsters. I heard earlier you guys were saying that it's not for everyone, which we agree, you know. But we do have some preteens and teenagers that listen to our content, young boys and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, it is awesome. I would say for my part, it is not necessarily challenging, as Derek said, in terms, because we are friends for 30 plus years, right? Like first form, the greatest.
Let's say a long time. Let's not say 30.
We first met in first form, the greatest educational institution in the Western Hemisphere. We can't speak about the East. We always say we can't speak about the East because we don't live there. Right? The Western Hemisphere, right? And we met, you know, and it feels like from our first interaction in first form, we just cool. Clicked, and you know, 30 years later, you know, we've always been friends. Sorry. I'm sorry. We are seasoned men, several decades. Yeah, I ain't gonna say late 1900s, but right. But no, seriously, you know, this really is one of my closest friends.
Nice. So we have some live production going on inside the space as well.
No. But on a serious note though, working with Derek is not a problem because this is just an extension of who we are. They're not acting, they're not nothing. As Derek said, the only challenge is, you know, we tackling some very harsh issues and, you know, we get labeled.
Why is it important to tackle these issues from a male perspective?
Well, generally speaking, we've had the situations where you had Ricky Lay, Oprah. These days you got The Rail, The View, Steve Harvey, all these different programs. But you never really hear the other side of the coin. And in our discussions with other men and stuff like that, men in our cohort, men younger than us, we discover we all get through the same things. So? And then you start to dive into other sources of content. You realize, wait a minute. But then just we here in Barbados, the fellas over in Trinidad got the same problems, the fellas in US got the same problems, the fellas in UK got the same problems. So maybe we need to start looking at things a little bit differently and starting to put our own interpretation of what's happening out there. And at times you get a lot of pushback for that.
Man, like he dipsy doodling. Here we go.
Dipsy doodling?
We don't dipsy doodling. We don't dipsy doodling. We dipsy doodling for radio. Right, we dipsy doodling for radio, right? Because you don't touch your
That has to be the first time that word has been said on this radio show.
Man, I should have really dipsy doodling, sure. But you know, seriously, right? Society don't care about men. They don't care about men's issues. They don't care about, you know, and this is, again, we get pushback because when we bring up these things, we obviously have to bring the example and the context of women, right? Women, everybody cares about women's emotions, feelings, the abuse, everything that happens with women, which they should. Yeah. But for men, nobody cares, right? Nobody talks about the suicide rates of men. Nobody talks about the poverty of men, the unemployment rates of men. Nobody talks about the rejection men get in relationships and the divorce rate initiated by women. Nobody talk about these things. Men struggling, you know. It's just that society has bred us not to talk. You know, if we talk, we soft. You know, come and drink saying and let me get the bar. And, you know what I mean?
Boy, we crying for boy.
Exactly. True. As a boy, even from the time you were born, boys are taught to be, what are you crying here for, right? Whereas if a girl cries, that's allowed, that's fostered. Men have to earn their value, right? We have to earn our value. Women, they have, I don't want to say easier time, but for lack of a better term, you know, they're coddled a bit because they're delicate, they're you know, the fair sex, everything like that. So you emotionally want them to be good, you want them to be strong and everything like that. You empower them to talk and to share emotions. We men gotta suck it up by the cup and keep get to the point. You know what I mean? Get it do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I actually started. this is gonna sound all like I'm on a humongous tangent, but I promise there is a focus.
Okay. Go ahead.
Last week Tuesday, I went to one of my roller skating sessions, learning to roller skate. They got skate for life 2%. So I down there try not to fall on nothing. So I put on my shoes and stuff, and there was a guy that was there with his son, and you got like different shoes to like rent to put on his shoes and stuff. Unfortunately, the little boy had a green pair, but it had glitter in it, and like the little boy you could feel that he felt a little embarrassed that he was putting on his shoes and had the glitter on it and stuff, but he really wanted to skate. So some people was like, encouraging him to get up. Don't mind the skates. It's about the wheels. It's about having fun. Don't worry about it. When you get your own skates, you can always come out, having a cool conversation. But the father was more like, but you got to take on them shoes though. What's I can't obviously use the B word, but that's real thing, and you can't put on them. And like he got really, really introverted. And then he was like, I don't feel like skating. He's like, man, I'm glad that you done with this here, man. Cause this roller skating thing is bare foolishness and thing. And I felt really bad for him because he was actually pretty good, And if they could have the father could have just looked past that, he could have been like Magic Mike. Oh, they want my teachers on there just doing the most out there, So I do understand that conversation about, having that male energy being pushed down all the time and not being able to express themselves, especially in certain situations. And that was a boy. That wasn't even a man. That was a boy, and I doubt, unless somebody sees him again and like really encourages him, I doubt he can put on with himself again. He felt real bad.
That's unfortunate, man. Ladies and gentlemen, it is 29 minutes before the hour of 12 o'clock. You're listening to 94.7 here. We're going on radio show with DJ Simmons, Empress Zinga, Neil Hoyt, Derek Marshall, the Senate podcast, powered by Flow. Right. So, as we continue, as Zinga was speaking about, pushing down male energy, one place that we males is really show a lot of energy and expression is a WhatsApp group, boy. You see that WhatsApp groups? And I feel sometimes that if the Senate is a WhatsApp group brought to life,
but here's
actually that is exactly how it started. There is a WhatsApp group called the Senate. Show up the men in the Senate. And, we are pretty much the two faces of it, but all the men in there, we found that we had these similar experiences. And during the pandemic, where everything shut down, life essentially stopped, we started checking on each other a bit more. And then the relationships, because we started talking about basketball. That was the purpose of the chat. But then we realized, it's important to check on each other. We checked on each other. And then we realized
safe space.
Yeah, because we're going through the stuff in relationships and stuff. So, it just organically happened, right? We're pandemic, you're checking on each other. A couple of the guys were going through some issues in their personal life and stuff like that, and we just decided to rename the chat the Senate. And we are very close friends, all of us, and we are there for each other. I mean, you tease each other and stuff like that. We can still do them sort of things, right? But in the end, man, we just decided, because we always wanted to do a podcast. I'll tell you the truth. Years ago, we wanted to do a podcast on music, right? Okay. And talking about like soul and stuff like that around Corporal, because we always arguing between between all the we here, so the men used to argue, right? So we wanted to do something like that, but life happened and it didn't really come to fruition. I don't know if you guys remember, I was doing the Boiler Room.
Yeah.
Of course,
right?
of course.
Right? You guys were on. So then one day Derek tell me, man, look, because he would send stuff in the chat, right? Derek said, man, look,
time to do this thing.
We up the thing. Let me do this thing. Content ain't feeling. Let me do it. Right? We gonna talk the things.
Content don't spoil.
Nah, don't spoil.
We gotta shout out some of the people on the Instagram live. Mr. Moore says to big at the Senate WhatsApp chat.
More, that's
Please note, I said Mr. Moore. Mark, they call out you whole name.
Hold on.
Now, what has been the response from some of the public to the Senate podcast so far? Everything can be rosy.
No, certainly no, definitely not. We have been called all the is you could hear.
Isms.
We've been misogynist, chauvinist, sexist,
patriarch. We propping up the patriarchy.
Yeah, all kind of is we've been called.
Everything.
And we find it
hilarious.
Yeah,
hilarious.
Sometimes it's a little taxing on you.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
especially from people that
know you for years, and they say, "Oh, these men is this whatever issue you want to call them," and it's like, all the time. So, especially when you know that that's not true.
You also know that men on podcasts are big no.
Oh, yeah, we're seeing a lot of that too, right?
Yeah.
But on my way here, I was thinking about it, and I started to understand because it's a whole set of like a shaming tactic thing.
Right? Nobody's saying language, right?
Yeah. And that's a term coined by Kevin Samuels, who was another person that got a lot of pushback.
Warning. What you are about to hear goes against traditional romantic counsel expressed by friends, family, and Instagram memes and quotes. Open-mindedness is advised.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, and welcome to another edition of the Senate Podcast. I am your host, Neil, joined as always by my brother from another mother, and your host, Derek. Wait a minute.
Oh my God! Look at this. Nothing. Is that gonna work with me? Stop the cap. She belongs to the streets. It's a contaminated environment. You know two tools about that? Hell no. To the no. Lord, by her Lord, so south. You can't make this shit up.
He's all great.
Yeah.
Yes, together we bring you another long-form content in Senate Podcast, and we have a guest. This guest is very special. I don't know. I know he's special to Derek. He's also very special to me. He is part of our duties in terms of creating content, everything that. Avid sport fan. The only thing we'll have against him is that he's got some wild takes in sports. But you got my man here, Justin Marville of the This Just In podcast. Justin, howdy people, man. How you doing?
Just glad to be back on a podcast that deserved to have won an award, but I guess we'll talk about that. I think this goes.
Listen. How is everything, man? You don't live in Barbados anymore. I ain't gonna put your whole socials in case you hiding, because we are on Elon Musk.
Warrants.
You know what I mean? You might got cases pending. So how you doing, man? How's life living? How is everything?
I'm missing home though, because as I was telling somebody, in fact, y'all, I only talk to y'all every day. I was telling y'all, I ain't know when the last time we jumped on some white girl child, bro. Like, it's really rough in these streets.
Yeah, those are that's the streets that you chose, brother. That's the life you've chosen. But
and can't do it.
What about you, Derek? How is everything? What's going on? Talk to me.
Man, I am here. I am well. I'm good. Had a hectic couple days in terms of dealing with the awards and stuff like that. Attending the awards, as you would know, we went up on Thursday. We ain't nothing. Big ups, as Moxie would have alluded to. But it was so good to be there, to be mingled with people. Same thing again on Sunday. They ain't nothing. Rihanna beat me, but I
bet it was probably neck and neck between you and Rihanna. G-Syndicate and Rihanna.
Close race, close battle.
Yeah, neck and neck.
So what I decided to do for the people, just to kind of capture it in pictures. Neil would have sent you a video there just now. If you could run it on screen for the people.
Let me get
do that
it
before, and I kind of forgot. So thanks to all the people who would have voted for us. We really, truly appreciate it. We had a good time. We will continue to crank. We are approaching episode 200. This is episode 198 right now. So we're feeling good about that. We're feeling proud about that. And big up my man, Moxie. Moxie is always there as a source of encouragement. He was the first man to kind of open my eyes to how school really keeping in these dating streets. So respects to you, Moxie. Big respects all the time. Appreciate it. Love you like a brother. And always good to have you on, especially when we can start to talk about a little bit of sports and stuff like that. So appreciate it.
It was one of those guys who voted for y'all. Let's put that.
We don't doubt that. We don't doubt that.
We don't doubt that at all.
None of doubt.
We appreciate it. And to all of you who in the chat that would have voted for us, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We're gonna push forward again and see what happens next year. If we can win this thing.
Listen, as I tell Derek, right? I got interject here, right? I told Derek, listen, it don't matter if you win or lose. We got something to do. We got purpose. We don't got content to crank, right? So whether we win, whether we don't win, it matters not to me personally because job not finished. You know, remember Kobe? Job done, job not done. So, and I understand that for some awards, that is a validation. Like, for example, as a filmmaker, I imagine like Golden Globes and Oscars, the Academy Award is like a validation of your work, right? But I don't need it in this space. I'll just leave it at that. I don't need it.
Well, give me a second to rant, man, because I'll do it for you, right? No. Because I'm not allowing you to get away with this tomfoolery, this mockery of awards, right? And I'm not here to. That's not true. I am here to bash people awards. The problem is, right, being in this space as well, I understand the work that both of you all put in, right? And let's take, for argument's sake, as I was saying on camera with Derek, when you are in a music award and you lose it to Rihanna, like, you're not going to bat an eye because at the end of the day, this is a billionaire, no? This is a woman who is,
she's an all-time. I'll just say she's an all-time.
This is her profession. This is what she does. So when she produces something, that time, effort, and money were behind it. So when you put this now into the podcast realm, and as again I said, because I'm in this space, I know firsthand what y'all have to do to put this out. This is not y'all opening up a laptop camera, putting on a free app in Zoom, and just talking. That's not how this works. Like, there's a level of preparation. Most of the work that you do prior to putting out a podcast comes before the actual podcast. So you have to come up with topics. So you have on your laptop or screens a measure of talking points. And then on top of that, then, especially with the graphical content that y'all put out, like, you got to put out the graphics. Y'all have to find what matches the content that y'all are working with. There's a level of work that goes in. So then when you see people being rewarded that do not put in the level of work that y'all put in, it's a shame, right? And I can't support that.
Well, I'll say this. First things first, if he won't be Justin Marville if Justin Marville did run. So thank you for that, staying true to form. And second, I am not as critical because at the end of the day, this is a People's Choice Awards. This is about voting. This is about your support system voting for you. I don't have a problem with that. Because at the end of the day, to me, if there were a committee of people of I don't know, cultural, advocates or whatever, just looking at the space and saying, well, this is the better song than this song, or this had the better cultural impact, or this person is a better personality than this person, then to me that would be a problem if it is so glaring, right? But I don't have a problem with people voting for who they want to win. I don't have a problem with it, and to that, I think that Jordan to say, look at personal. Just give me something to do. Just it gives us motivation to keep doing what we're doing. Not saying that we need it for the award, but hey, man, just fuel for the fire. Anyhow, this is not what this is about. Derek, how you doing, man? Talk to people, man.
Yeah, good all the time, and I am ready to crank as always.
As always.
As you said, a little bit more. I can't even say inspiration because the topics is just fascinate me.
Jeez.
And
I think content abounds here.
Yeah, I think what we do and the things, the responses we get, and the comments that I get, in my day-to-day travelings, I am encouraged, and I'm really encouraged by what we got going on. We approaching episode 200, and we also approaching the King's Gathering. We in March. This is the first episode for March. In 2 months. 2 months hence, we will be at the Ginger Lily Hall in the Bell Estates for the King's Gathering. It is not the Parole's Gathering, it is the King's Gathering. So come out suited and booted, looking good, people. Start at 10 a.m. We can have presentations, physical fitness, mental health, finance, law. Shoot, even with Mama Choco and Minaj gonna come through and do a little bit of cocktail blending for you. Show you how to mix up your cocktails where you got your little female company over and thing. Show you how to organize them things. And we're gonna have how to develop a small business that kind of thing, a presentation on that. And if you're nice to us, we might actually do something on the spot in terms of interaction, discussion, that kind of thing. You never know. If
you get short, you might get a short.
You might get a short. And you know, there's no admission for this, but those of you who want to contribute, feel free to do that. Do it on the day when we get there. And please let us know that you're coming so that we can have the appropriate seating for you. We don't want you to turn up and then stand up and complain and get vexed and sit out there and need me when I come and stand up for you whole afternoon. So let us know in the early. Shoot, you can message me now. You can email me now at thesenneteinsession@gmail.com. You can email me right now. And you can put in the chat and let me know that you coming. So we go have a good gathering at the King's Gathering, right?
I think it's better. I think it's best though to send people to the seneteinsession@gmail.com, the email address, because that way, because somebody messaged me today on Facebook, and he is interested in coming, was asking us to reserve a seat for him, and that is not a problem. Thank you very much for that. But I still think instead of us having to look Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, whatever, just send everything to the seneteinsession@gmail.com. Send it to our business email account, and we would give the head count for that.
Yeah, I see my man Philip in the chat say he had a blast at Gold Cup. Big up Philip, because Philip actually was in the commentary booth. He was on the mic at the Gold Cup. Is it Sanley Gold Cup, right? It used to be Cotswold the Gold Cup when we were growing up. But
No, Cotswold come there, man.
So it's Sanley Gold Cup. Big up Philip, man. Respects, we give kudos and shout outs to everybody, all the men that went into the space, because shoot, we gotta get the men a little forward, you know what I mean? So but it's sports, we gonna crank. Let's not start the ceremony here.
But hold on, before we get into it, no, because there are a couple of things I want to address. One, I'm gonna put this on screen. Somebody just sent this to me. They have us on the big screen watching live, as you can see here, the Senate podcast on the big screen. I would say the man look clean, right? Right. Nice, so thank you very much for tuning in.
Big respect.
And then, of course, I just want to say really quickly that we appreciate our following, right? Even the people that we sometimes don't always agree on. In this last week or so, we've gotten a lot of messages, both publicly and privately, saying, you guys are doing great work. We really support you, appreciate you. I voted and everything like that. So I don't even think that it is necessary something to do with our people not choosing us for any voting or award. I just think that it is what it is. And I just want to make mention to thank everybody that is subscribed. And that's going to bring us to the housekeeping. This is indeed the Senate Podcast. Please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. We do content for you as often as we can. Tuesdays or Thursdays, we do the live streams at 8 p.m. Barbados time. We have Senate shorts, people, but my time is only but so much. But trust me, I gotta get myself into a space to do it. But I can give you all some shorts. Those are a bit lighthearted. Those are not as serious. They're the wildest side. Shoot, they got we gotta talk. They got one that come up there recently that making the rounds. It's about an adult dealing with a minor, and that one is.
Wow. All I can say is wow.
That one is yeah. So we could do all of that, but like, comment, share, subscribe, like the content, share the content so we can build the content, and let's get into it. Now, as I say, every Tuesdays and Thursdays we come here in this non-dipsy doodle space. We do the live stream at 8 p.m. Barbados time. Before then, Derek would usually go on our social media pages, particularly Facebook. Give us a like, a follow, whatever. Just do the social media etiquette. And Derek would usually go and he would put the topic for what we're talking about. Now, I know some of you are not sports fans. And, we would have had a basketball player. Three of us, we are huge basketball fans, Ja Morant. So this is above the law. What can we learn from Ja Morant's ongoing off-court issues? And this is going to be an interesting discussion because I know normally we come here and we sit that we just come and talk about the women and bash the women, but this one is wholly and solely for the gentlemen. I think that the women could glean something from this too, but to be fair, we got to hold the man to task with this one. So over to you, my brother. Oh, I still got the. Guess we can run that at the end, the clips from the awards show.
Yeah, man. Yeah, give me intro number 1 and then intro number 2 there. So and let me get on the road.
Right. So we got intro number 1 here.
Yeah, this is Ja Morant's lawyers every other week. He's looking like every week these days.
Yeah. And then we got
give me number 2, my Pakistani friend at the cricket game. Derek Rose watching Ja Morant race a good pair of knees trying to be hood.
Yeah. Wait, Justin, you have you have the clips. You have the clips and everything, or you can see on the screen.
No, I don't have the clips, but I am on social media enough to know exactly the clips out there because
let me say things to you, man. Anyhow, go ahead, Derek.
Yeah, man.
So a Pakistani cricketer with the hands of Kimbo.
Yeah, exactly.
Hard.
So put Ja Morant on screen there, let everybody see Ja Morant, all right? Ja Morant, folks, is an American professional basketball player for the Memphis Grizzlies of the NBA. He was selected by the Grizzlies with his 2nd overall pick in the 2019 NBA draft and named the NBA Rookie of the Year in 2020. For those of you who are acquainted, Zion Williamson, he went number 1, and RJ Barrett went number 3 to New York. And right now, that is looking like a fantastic pick. But anyhow, I digress. He was named to his first NBA All-Star game in 2022 as a starter and won the NBA Most Improved award at the conclusion of the season, which probably should have gone to Desmond Bain anyway. But yeah, he was also selected to his first All-NBA team in 2022. Over the last year, however, the NBA has been investigating a variety of incidents involving Ja and his associates. The latest being Ja going on Instagram Live and displaying a firearm. So Neil, please roll the slideshow that I would have sent for you so you can read that. Yeah, it says.
Hold on. Let me get.
Sorry.
Get myself together.
Hit the like button as you come in. Hit the like button as you come in. That's the only price of admission. So hit that and let me keep it moving.
All right. Well, let's get it.
Yeah. So it says. This saga could become more messy for Ja Morant and the Grizzlies. Ja had his gun in Denver, meaning he brought it on the plane. The league has strict rules against bringing a firearm to team facilities and on the plane, etc. And then it gives you a breakdown of his transgressions. Police report last summer Morant and associates in confrontation with mall head of security. No charges filed. They also went back after the fact, apparently false, and threatened the guard, trying to find out what time the guard was getting off work. Police report, 4 days after that incident, he and a 17-year-old alleged Morant had a gun in his waistband after an altercation. Apparently, he hit the young man and stuff like that. Pickup game. No charges were filed.
Repeatedly, by the way. He punched him repeatedly.
Yeah, apparently he and one of his associates were beat down on the little man. Right? January 29th, Morant acquaintances in a post-game confrontation with the Indiana Pacers. They're spotting a laser and thing for the Pacers men. And, because I'm a Knicks fan, I don't really have much love lost for the Pacers, but, that might be a stretch too far even for me. And then on Saturday morning, no gone, not 50 years ago, this Saturday no gone, Morant appears to display a gun in Instagram live posts at a nightclub. And this is after having rumors and allegations swirling around him about possessing a gun. Now, he has since issued a statement of apology to his team, friends, and fans, and he's taken time away from the team and has deactivated his social media account. So allow me to read his statement for you guys, all right? He says, I take full responsibility for my actions last night. I'm sorry to my family. Whoops, where you going? Come back here, all right. Sorry to my family, teammates, coaches, fans, partners, the city of Memphis. I'm going to take some time away to get help and work on learning better methods of dealing with stress and my overall well-being. So my man blaming stress already. So we can duck little accountability. But I like the fact that you own up to you doing junk and you apologize. All right. As usual, though, we find teachable moments for men in these situations. So I want us to examine the contributing factors, well, the ones that I believe are contributing factors, that are allowing us to watch Ja Morant self-destruct and piss away the bike in real time. So the first thing I believe it is the allure of ghettoism, ratchetness, and overall gangsterism. Ghettoism and stupidity are strong forces. When they come together, they're a terrible combination, right? There's an exciting rawness and authenticity about ghettoism that is intoxicating. So I can understand its allure of why people, young men and young women alike, will gravitate towards what I like to refer to as subculture. A long time ago in Bethlehem, when I was a student at the Wesley Hall Junior School, probably the best primary school in Bimba, I digress, it seemed as if most of the boys there wanted to be a bus driver, and not just an ordinary bus driver, a mini bus driver, and most definitely a maxi taxi driver. For those of you who are not,
I'm hurting the transport board here, though. It's like no one else has it. Like how are we aiding against the transport board here? Like I'm
no, just saying, but because Wesley Hall is in the urban environs. Everybody want to be a maxi taxi driver, and this is before the days of ZRs, right? For those of you who are not as seasoned as the guys here on the channel.
Or dropping liquor for the hawk, no. Like how is not driving a transport board bus like not a thing? They don't know.
Yeah, man. So the pull to be a part of that particular culture is intense, right? Also, we as Black people, we seem to have a very healthy fear and even guilt of being successful. We want to be successful, yes, but only so successful because we don't want to be labeled as what? A sellout. This is why we will see ladies dress up in their finery and go and skin out, in effect, when their songs come on because they don't want to be perceived as, too bougie or stush, right? This is why we can pay $250 general admission and $350 for VIP to get our all-inclusive fare. And when the DJ say, bigger all the poor people, everybody hand in the air. Yeah? We as Black people always want to be down. Yeah, Chris Rock said that when he started up years ago. We want to be down. Even if it means pretending that we aren't in a privileged position. Folks, make no mistake about it. Ja Morant is in a privileged position. In 75 years of existence of the NBA, there are yet to be 5,000 men to play in the NBA. Ja Morant is counted amongst them. It's like 48 something, I think it is by now. And he's one of the best. And his paychecks reflect that fact. So that brings us to another factor. Money. Get ready, Neil, because I coming on fast here now, right? The Chappelle Show is still, to this day, an iconic show from the early 2000s. On that show, there was a segment called Charlie Murphy's True Hollywood Stories, hosted by Charlie Murphy.
Charlie Murphy.
Rest in peace, Charlie Murphy.
Rest in peace.
Yes, sir. Rest in peace.
Most people in our cohort know of those two hilarious stories. The Prince story. Prince on screen there for me.
Oh, you did.
And the Rick James story. It's Rick James. Yeah. You got a whole set of memorable lines coming out of that, like cocaine is a hell of a drug. But one of the most famous and underrated lines in the Rick James story was, they should have never gave you this money. Yeah.
F your coach.
Yeah. What am I going to do about my legs?
Tell me, what am I going to do with my legs?
No. Should have never gave these niggas money. You know, there's a word they don't really use, but I can use it in this context, right?
Yep.
Because this is nigga.
This is a nigga moment.
This is nigga moments here.
Yeah, from Boondocks. Yeah, nigga moment.
Ja Morant signed a contract with the Memphis Grizzlies for $193 million. It's 4 years or 5 years, Moxie? 5?
Check there because I forgot. But
I think it's 4. Hold on, guys. I got the power Google at my fingertips, so let me get it here real quick. Ja Morant
over
contract.
$100 million if he reached certain incentives. So
there you go. So he's a $200 million man.
4 years.
4 years, right? So when you do that math there, so that's $40 million a year. however it work out, right?
Very
He has a
96,
contract.
19.
Yeah,
Well,
he has a
$50
contract.
million
Yeah,
a year once he reaches those incentives.
there you go. He has a contract with Nike for a signature shoe, right? He's
Ja
also the
wants-
face.
And they look cool too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's also the face of Powerade.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Gentlemen, many times we as men, we have to mature faster than our financial growth.
Mm.
Let me repeat that. We have to mature faster than our financial. Because you come into a windfall of money, all of a sudden you're in the club making it rain, right? Colin Cowherd. I love Colin Cowherd, right? Actually, he's kind of like, I kind of got a similar style to in terms of how he draw reference to real life, bring it to sports, as you sports bring it to real life, that kind of thing, right? Colin Cowherd once said that money is like jet fuel to the ego. If you pay or reward somebody for doing something, you get more of it. Not only that, money also gives us more access to our vices.
Mm. Pass.
So if you're a man that likes alcohol, anytime you get money in hand, it goes straight to a bar owner. If you're a man that likes strippers, anytime you get money in hand, you first in line at rehab. By the same token, if you're a man who grew up loving the gangster life and wanting street cred, anytime you get money in hand, you are going to try to access the things that allow you to be a gangster, to get street cred. And Ja Morant is experiencing this firsthand and doing it in the fishbowl that is the NBA. Ladies and gentlemen, money does not make us indestructible or above the law. We've seen how big companies operate when individuals under contract do things which bring the company name into disrepute. If you don't meet ask Kyrie or Kanye, right? Here the other day. So let me go forward, because so far we got the allure of ghettoism, money. Shift gears. I mean, look at Ja's dad, Ja Morant. From all appearances, it seems as if Ja Morant did his best to ensure that his family lived a good, stable life. While preparing for tonight's show, he discovered that he even built a court in his backyard so Ja would be able to work on his game. And Ja's sister now seems to be benefiting because she's also working on a decent basketball career. I think she's at high school now, right?
Yeah.
So run the slideshow that I sent you there, so new, the family slideshow while they talk here for the people. Just to get the heartstrings a little bit. T and his wife seem to be still together. So it's not like Ja came up in a dysfunctional single parent household where he had to, run the streets to help mama out of poverty. That's not the case here. Somewhere along the line, though, Ja seems to think that he's Ja Wick. Ja Wick on screen there, right?
Yeah, let me get Ja right here, look.
Right?
Look at that, look.
Folks, I believe, this is part here don't die. A little bit of conjecture, but I believe firmly too that it's going to be difficult but not impossible for Ja Morant's dad to have a reasonable impact in his son's life at this point. That dynamic has shifted irretrievably, I believe, because Ja is now the breadwinner. Yeah, he bought his parents a house, and now they live next door to him. It is difficult to tell someone who sponsors your lifestyle how to run their own life. But I do think there may still be time for T to pull Ja off the ledge. For me at this point, though, Ja Morant comes over as more like a friend and a part of the crew than a dad.
Party posse.
Yeah.
Shout
He
out
had the
Phil Jackson.
games. Yeah, big up Phil Johnson. He had the games, he don't front row, his sunglasses, always looking cool and stuff like that.
Always got a cup in the hand.
Yeah. Always looking cool. When they had the altercation with Shannon, he was in there, elevating the situation as opposed to trying to de-escalate it. Right? Having said that, Ja Morant needs to intervene. I have a hard conversation with his son. Right now, he needs to step in and say, all right, that's enough, son. Enough is sufficient. You're embarrassing yourself, me, mother, your family, and jeopardizing everything that you've sacrificed and worked so hard for to get you to where you are right now. You see, ladies and gents, Ja Morant isn't standing on his efforts alone. He's where he is today, standing on the efforts of his family, close friends, and coaches, and all those around him in his circle. It's not just his basketball skill. Someone had to coach him. Someone had to pay for the coaching. Someone had to take him to the coaching. Someone gave him the opportunity to be seen. Shoot, he father built a whole court in the house. And let's talk about that. The fact that, you could build a house in your yard. You're struggling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, life in, yeah.
Build a court in your yard. You're struggling. But the things he's been doing recently are jeopardizing not only his efforts, but everybody else's who helped him to get where he is today. The challenge, though, that T. Morant may have is that he too may be living vicariously and living out his own gangster fantasy through his son. So if he's enjoying it, he may not say anything about it. So let me shift gears here now, because we got the allure gangsterism and ghettoism, money, your father. So let me shift gears a bit and we can talk about friend circle. Got a pick there so that I want you to put on screen for me, Neil.
There you go.
Yeah. Being too close to the wrong people can ruin you. Say that again. Being too close to the wrong people can ruin you. Man, this is critical. You got to pay attention. All those on the sound of my voice, being too close to the wrong people can ruin you. Any young men listening, remember this when you go to school. Yeah. Ladies are listening, I got sons. Shoot, screenshot, carry this picture. Show your son. As you guys well know, let me take a pause. Pause in the Senate Podcast, episode 198. Hit the like button for us, please, please, please. As you guys well know, I am not the biggest LeBron James fan. I could wax philosophically about why I'm not, but brevity being the soul of wit, suffice it to say, I find him to be a self-serving fraud. Having said that, and let me pause to say, we've had discussions on Moxie has discovered that, I am indeed right.
Hey, but what are you trying to do?
You
try to validate your
you try to validate to be on wax. I just want to wax, right?
All right, very well.
Having said that, I do give LeBron James maximum respect.
It's on wax too.
Yeah, for his relationship with his wife. I've never said otherwise. That big at Savannah, man. His relationship with his children.
Savannah
is the GOAT. Undisputed. The GOAT. Right?
Real good.
Yeah. So relationship with his wife, his children, and his circle of friends. Even though we might feel called the posse, but still, his circle. LeBron has never had any public scandals to embarrass Savannah and the family, and neither has Savannah done anything to disgrace his legacy. Big up Savannah. Fellas, you see where you got to choose a woman properly? Also, he had a little thing with Bronny and the girl at graduation and thing that, but only black women care about that when he had the white girl at graduation. But that's not true.
Yeah.
The same can be said, pay attention, gentlemen, for his boys, Rich Paul and Maverick Carter, and the other fellow, Randy, somebody I can't remember. Right?
The Mims.
Right. They have been with him since day one. And all they've done is built with him. They didn't only develop LeBron's brand, but they simultaneously built successful individual brands. None of them has done anything to bring his brand or their own brands into disrepute over the 20 years that LeBron has been in the league. So big up that LeBron circle, even if we don't big up LeBron. Ja Morant is the leader of his pack. And as such, everything that happens in that clique will be on him. The problem here is that he has the most to lose. I tell y'all fellas all the time, and I tell everybody on this channel, a pig should never go into the ham and egg business with a chicken. Here's the thing. Ja Morant made it out. Because of his own hard work and graft skill, he made it out. So he tried to hustle backward and find himself back in the hood. I mean, he was never really in the hood, but I'm gonna get what I mean.
I was just about to say, you said made it out like he come from a struggle, but
he make it even further out. Right? But the allure, the pull of it is so much that he won't do this. Gentlemen, ladies who have sons, nephews, fathers, if your friends will allow, encourage, and even aid and abet your self-destruction, they are not your friends. It's time for you to change your friend circle. You need to change your dating pool. We can say you're going to change your circle here. Sometimes we have to leave their ones behind if they can't grow and mature as quickly as the success does. We as men need to be able to recognize when it is time to do that. To use a scriptural reference here now, we get biblical a little bit. It says, preach. We can't put old wine in new sacks.
Wait. Say it again.
We can't put old wine in new sacks.
Right.
And if we're intent on going to new heights, some people just do not have the capacity. They don't have the capacity for that, big man. They don't have the capacity to go there with us. No, having said all that, folks, this is the real part here. That clicked to me as I was preparing. Ja Morant's desire to be a gangster. Let's assume, ladies and gents, that Ja has received wise counsel from those around him, and he just wants to be the way he is. There are reports that people close to him have indeed spoken to him about his shenanigans, but he won't heed the warning. So let me get the Michael Cole on screen there.
There you go.
Yeah, and it says, I can 100% tell you that there are some older people in Ja Morant's circle who have had these talks with him. It's all up to him at this point. He has to realize what is at stake. That just doesn't seem to be the case right now, and it could damage something special in Memphis. Frig, Memphis. This is youngster's life. So Frig basketball right now.
True.
Yeah. This is this young man's life. It's going to impact him. It's going to impact his family. He's a father. Yeah. So Frig basketball, and we're getting on special in Memphis. Right? What can we take? If he continues on this path, folks, Ja Morant will be out of the league very soon. Let me call a thing a thing. As my man Choco Manaj would tell you, any man that grew up with a bird bath and a swing set in his yard ain't a real gangster.
Yeah.
And Ja, poor fella, he ain't even had a swing set. He had an entire court.
A whole court.
In his yard. Street cred is doing absolutely nothing for him at this point, but his desire to be a pretend gangster is overruling the importance of providing for his family. Said he got a daughter. So he family, mother, father next door. And the same friends around him. So let me leave you guys with this graphic I was sharing with one of the guys in the chat. Right? And then I noticed that everybody put it up even before he could get a chance. Everybody had it up, right? And it says, everyone must choose one of two pains. Pain of discipline or pain of regret. We as men need to get our acts together. Yeah. Let Ja Morant and this crap that he going through. And there's the next thing. These are self-inflicted wounds. There ain't nobody else to blame for this. There's he. It's he on screen with the gun waving, boat and all kind of foolishness. Right? It's he in the huddle doing a gun salute because a man scored a basket. Yeah, this is Ja Morant. Fellas, we gotta get ourselves together and be mindful of the fact that no one, not even Ja Morant, is above the law.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are indeed watching the Senate podcast. Please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. And let's get into it. No. Of course, there is a reason why we brought Justin on, not because he is one of our closest and oldest friends, not because that he is an intelligent guy, but because, he is rather knowledgeable of basketball and sports in general, and he is a logical person most of the time. He is a father. So Justin, now if you would have watched the This Justin, last night at 8 p.m. Barbados time, Justin will tell you the other times, you would have seen we would have talked about this at the beginning of the show. But Justin, for those that have not watched that and don't tune into that space, which is a shame, please go ahead, give them the monologue you gave yesterday.
Which part? So I just want to push back one thing Derek said, just slightly, because I agree with everything, but getting rid of Ja Morant's friends, right? Because you alluded to it yourself, Derek. Ja Morant is the leader of the pack. So the pack will go as he leads.
Yeah.
And you brought up LeBron James, right? It is not that Randy Mims and Rich Paul and Maverick Carter led LeBron James to where he is. He is the leader of the pack. He's the alpha male. So he put them in positions to succeed outside of him, where they are not going to drag him down or they are not going to be dependent on him. They don't need handouts. And they have their own businesses apart from LeBron James, which LeBron James also uses to his benefit. Because as we know, Rich Paul has Clutch Sports, which is an agency that LeBron James uses to funnel players to wherever he goes. I don't think this is a
self-serving, but carry on, brother.
Maverick Carter runs media industry, which LeBron James uses, like the barbershop, to put out his narratives.
Right,
so I think that there to see that Ja Morant isn't being misled by his people more so than Ja Morant misleading his people. Following in the vein of LeBron James, you are to set the example. You are to put your boys in a position to succeed where A, they no longer need you, and B, you elevated yourself and you elevate them as well. It's as simple as that. So if we're talking about accountability, Ja Morant has to take full accountability. Forget your father, because as you correctly said, he is now the breadwinner of the entire family. Yep. So whether we feel his father should be acting like his father and not his biggest fan, I agree with. The reality is Ja Morant is a grown man.
Facts.
Ja Morant is the leader of the pack. Ja Morant is now the leader of his family. So with that comes a level of responsibility and accountability to do the right things and put everybody in a position where they do not need you and you elevate them. There, I don't know what it is about the allure of good life. I don't know. I don't get it. Because to 2 points. One, you touched on the first one. Ja Morant, this is not Ja Morant's world. This is not where Ja Morant came from.
Yeah.
Ja Morant came from a two-parent, middle-class, private school background. Let me repeat that. Two-parent, middle-class, private school. None of that speaks hood. You said that his own court in the backyard. T. Morant would have given him, I think he had a situation where they got truck tires, and he used that as a way to, train and prepare for life in college and then obviously the NBA. The reason I bring that up, right? When you look at people like, let's use the example I used last night with Allen Iverson. That was Allen Iverson's life.
Mm-hmm.
That is Allen Iverson's upbringing. That is all Allen Iverson knew, right? So yeah, you can see, but Allen Iverson could have chosen a different path and elevate. But hold on. There's a point a lot of people that don't grow up in that sphere don't understand. And I'm not just talking about being hood. I mean, in that sphere, in that realm, what happens is that early on, these cliques identify who is the guy who is likely most to make it out. And obviously within that clique, it would have been Allen Iverson, right? So what those guys do is that they sacrifice all their money, all of whatever they have to protect the person first. So you're not going to get into any issues. Unfortunately, that didn't work out with Allen Iverson, because if you don't know, he was incarcerated, I think, for about 6 months of his life. Yeah. But you're supposed to protect them from harm. You give them as much money so they're not wanting for anything and don't need to go outside your clique for anything. They sacrifice everything for the one person. The reason why that is important then is when somebody like Allen Iverson makes it out, you're not going to turn your back on the people who made sure that you got where you are and were not wanting. So you understand then why Allen Iverson would feel indebted to these guys who are good, for lack of a better word, because they protected you. They made sure you were not wanting for anything when you got to the top. So then it's in you then to kind of repay them. But that's not Ja Morant's morality. No, sorry, that's not Ja Morant's reality. That's not what happened with him. Yeah. And then the other point it brought in that when you look at the NBA as a whole, not only since the Malice at the Palace in, I want to say what it was that?
2004? 2003?
No, it was after the Pistons championship. So I want to say 2005 or 2006. After the Malice at the Palace incident, right? You know the NBA has done everything in its power to clean up the image.
Clean up.
It's November 2004.
Oh. So then when you look at the faces of the league, the LeBron James you just mentioned, Steph Curry, Giannis Antetokounmpo, all of these are guys who purport to be clean-cut family guys. These are the faces of your league, not just the faces of your league. These are people who are extremely well paid off of the court, tons of endorsements, to the point where LeBron James, still playing, is a billionaire. Mm-hmm. That is what the role models you see in your league: Giannis, LeBron, Steph Curry, Luka Doncic. I could go on and on and on and on. Gentlemen, there is no reason for Ja Morant to feel a pull to the hood life. You did not raise up in it. The faces of your league do not embody that. How in God's earth did you move from a middle-class family with both parents still together to believe you have to degrade yourself, because that's what I'm going to call it, degrade yourself, pull yourself back down to a situation where most people who are living that life spend generations trying to get out of it? Gentlemen, I'm going to bring it home for y'all, a point that y'all may not know of. In my younger days, playing basketball against a gentleman who kind of, looking at it, embodies what Ja Morant is currently going through. He would have been middle-class kid, good education because he went to one of the oldest secondary schools in Barbados. I'm talking about one of the first ones with a A levels with sixth form. I'm not talking about these schools that recently got sixth form. I'm not pulling down any school. I'm saying, this is one of the old. Yeah. So he came from middle class background. Both parents extremely well off. At some point they did divorce, but did not have that background up. And this is the time would have been doing CXCs and going forward. And when I look, he fell into this pull as well with all sort of pro basketball as well. And I just couldn't get it. Like, you're middle class, both parents live in well-to-do neighborhoods, good education. Where are you going in that direction? I couldn't get it. And this is not to say that guns and drugs don't pay it, because we all know
if you're keeping it real,
if there's something that pays, it's guns and drugs. But
we in the Senate podcast do not condone
drug and gun running.
I'm not condoning it, but I have to face reality, like guns and drugs pay. But his parents paid as well. And I don't understand what the pull was. But there's something, I don't know personally because I've never been drawn to it, but there is something about Untold, and there's something to say I'm involved in moving drugs or I'm involved in moving, guns.
Trying to get the bag, you put you in the ends.
And
That's so hard.
I can at least say I believe that he has left that life behind. He's a family man now, so I'm glad to see. And I obviously will not call names, but glad to see that he has moved on beyond that.
You don't call names, but we'll see the guy.
I saw you. But yeah,
that's what. Can I give you just one? One CXC.
Not doing this with you. I'm not doing this to you at all. So I don't understand the pull when especially you're not from that life. Like Ja is not from that life. And then your role models within your own league are also not of that life and not purporting to be of that life. Then you don't need that life, as Derek again brought up, because you have a 4-year extension that's kicking in at the end of this season that is, with incentives, going to be worth almost $250 million. Let me repeat that, guy, man, because I don't think you understand how much money is at stake. That is going to be worth, if he reaches all the incentives, close to $250 million over the course of 4 years. Granted, taxes will come out or to pay agents, but yeah, still enough money. Money that realistically should help you for 3 generations. No more the guns, no more the drugs can bring that to your life. And then when you talk about the endorsements you have, you're the face of Gatorade, as Garrett mentioned. You have your line within Nike that so many before you fought and could not get. I don't even think Anthony Davis has his own shoe, but you have one. Yeah, they say you don't want to be Russell Wilson because that looks corny and, that could be fake. But what you're doing is fake because this is not who you are. And you're going to cost yourself a career. You're costing yourself what could eventually turn out to be billions. You're costing your family the ability to and I mean, they're not poor, but they may never have to work again.
Yeah.
I don't get it. And then when you look at LeBron James, like let's use LeBron as an example, right? If you set up your playing career exactly right, you can make yourself into a brand that is beyond. Because let's face it, guys, LeBron's brand, it may not be bigger than Nike itself, but LeBron is well past what he is not just a Nike athlete.
Correct.
LeBron is bigger than that.
More than just an athlete.
More than just an athlete, and that should be your aspirations. Oh, it's holding a gun, even it in a club, and it's one thing if you do these things behind the scenes, right? Fine, but going on Instagram live, you're not a teenager live, threatening a mall security guard live, putting a laser on Indiana Pacers executives. Like what do you think? Like,
Pacers.
And on top of this all, right, guys, here's where you have to bring your race card in twofold, right? No matter how much money you have, no matter how big your brand is, you are still at the end of the day, a black man in America. So you are always a second-class citizen. Like, no, it does not matter who you are, what your brand is, how much money you have. You're a second-class citizen in the eyes of the truly wealthy. That's one. Because at the end of the day, you may think you make a lot of money. Make a lot of money, how much do you think the owner makes?
Mm-hmm.
You will never be at the level of the owner, at least in terms of the eyes of the owner. And second and most importantly, right, or not most importantly, remember the league you are in. And this is very important, gentlemen. This is not the NFL. This is not baseball. Major League Baseball at that. And the reason I bring those two into context here, those two leagues are pushed and marketed at the blue collar person. So that's what you see all these NFL guys, right, with all these indictment, these cases or whatever not, still playing in the league and getting away with that nonsense because it is marketed and pushed to a particular demographic who can live and deal with that. Like, they don't care. I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, both of y'all have been to NBA games. I don't know if your viewers have, but if you haven't, take a look when the camera pans in the crowd. The type of person that's sitting down in the NBA, especially courtside. Take a look at the cost of courtside seats, because they can tell you my in-laws have NFL, they have regular season ticket, they're regular season ticket owners, and they are like right in the bottom, like in the bowl, can't get any closer, and they can afford those tickets because NFL tickets are not expensive. You sit courtside, you're talking about tens of thousands of dollars there. I say that to say the NBA is marketed towards middle class, upper middle class, and rich people. They are not here to see about thug life. That is why the league pushed so hard to have clean-cut faces of the league. Ja Morant is costing himself, his family, the chance, and not millions, gentlemen, billions.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I let me say here because and that's why we're talking about it, because I see Jerome, big up Jerome in the house. Jerome made the point that Ja's young and you know he's 23, got enough money. Essentially, you know, you can lower man a mistake. But yeah, and I think it's Dr. Kerry asks is the kind of mistakes that you make. And yeah, you don't want to jeopardize everything because of the kind of mistakes that you make. Yeah, everybody could do something ignorant. You know what I mean?
But I want to talk to that, right? Yes, you're young, and yes, you can make mistakes. But the issue with Ja Morant, for me personally at least, there is nothing in his life that tells me these are the mistakes he should be making. That is my problem. Like, there's nothing that's steering you. This is not the life that you came from. So then why you personally choose to go into it? That is the problem. Like, again, I reference Allen Iverson and other people of that ilk because that's their life. So you understand that that's all they knew. So then when you put money in their hands, you're not going to magically change. You're just going to amplify the life that you've already lived. So as a middle class boy coming up, that I give you money, I would expect you to just continue living a upper middle class life. I mean, well, obviously, no, you're a millionaire. So like, I would just expect you to amplify the values that you already have instilled in you. And then the role models in the league do not perpetuate the life that you are trying to live. You're not looking at Giannis and seeing Giannis waving around guns. This is not what Giannis does. This is not what Steph Curry does. This is not what LeBron James does. So then why do you, what is the reason it's directing you down that path? And there's no, like, yes, you are young. And none of us have been 23-year-old millionaires. None of us. So we don't understand what it means. But Josh should not understand what hood life means either. Because that's not where he came from.
Yeah, so this is how I see it, right? Like both of y'all are completely right? What I find is troubling to me is that it has to get to this point for people to want to interject. You know what I mean? Like, I would like to see even the same Allen Iverson, one of the former legends or whatever, like, come to young man and say, listen, man, here trot, right? Because I firmly believe this man could be a top 100 player in the next 25 years, right? He could, you know, all-star appearances, first team, and all of that, all the accolades that comes along with being in the NBA. But I know the reason why Derek brought this up is because we need to do a better job of staying on our purpose, right? Now, God has given you a talent. Shoot, even if you don't believe in God, you have an amazing talent to play the game of basketball or to do anything. It could be to play basketball. It could be to be intelligent, to be a prodigy, whatever it is.
To produce podcasts that people overlook. Yeah.
Sure, right? But you have to but you know what? You're right, because you have to stay on your purpose. You have to identify your purpose and you have to stay on it, especially if you have been consistent in that purpose from a young age, right? Now, You have this talent, and this talent is your key to freedom, generational freedom. Not only in wealth, in status, in legacy, right? Like, to me, I know you would have said this last night, Justin, that, nobody don't want to be a Russell Wilson because that's corny. To me, doing the right things and getting that money and having that legacy, that's give me boring any day. You know what I mean? Because
And that's what he said, early in the monologue. We seem to have this guilt about being successful, and we don't want to be called a sellout, right? Or what was the other derogatory terms we were fine for? Because apparently, to do these things is to be lighter complected. These are the things that are associated with white people.
But we used to talk about in this space, right? I agree with you. We used to talk about this space all the time about celebrating mediocrity, right? And how, when you hear a woman is a single mother and she got 2 jobs and she making ends meet and she making it work, she don't need no man. It's like, we celebrating that for, and people
like that.
saying you got that queen and this and that and next. Like, no, you choosing that struggle, essentially, right? No, sorry. Now, let me say you're choosing it, but you are bigging up yourself and celebrating yourself for struggling, right? You are putting it out there to say, look at me. I am struggle. I am able to continue to struggle. I am making it making it to your ends in the struggle.
I see where you're coming from. Like, if that is your life and you're making it, then fine. But that should not, like you're saying, that shouldn't be the aim. That shouldn't be the
Your
goal.
aim should be to get out. Your aim should be to leave that behind because, you being poor, being of the streets, being, thuggy, you know what I mean? Having an edge. Like, I never understood, right? I never ever understood, right? Why some people wanted to live that life. And part of me understands it because it's what you learn, is learned behavior, is what you know, you gotta do what you gotta do, and it becomes a part of you and who you are. But by the same token, I could not aspire to be
Struggling.
And the thing is, right? And what's fascinating to me, right? The people that actually purport these sort of behaviors, people that actually do these types of things, there's a reason why they do these things, because they have to not be caught slipping in the streets. They always got that thing on them because they're doing things that they know they shouldn't be doing to make money because they're struggling. You know what I mean? You mentioned the drugs and alcohol and the guns and everything like that, but people that do those things, they're doing it because they want fast money and they want to get out of poverty. They're tired. Biggie Smalls was rap about it all the time. He tired of saying he mother crying about bills. My bounty saying poor people fed up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you get tired of it and you say, look, man, nobody give me a job. This school thing ain't working out. I need money today because the rent due today. So you know what I can go and do? I can go and get X, flip Y, and buy Z so that I can defend Y and move whatever you gotta do and do what you gotta do in the streets. And you gotta keep an entourage and that, stick on you so that if the ops come about, you ends, you get to, whatever the young people say, you get to deal with it, right? But it always fascinated me. You are rich. You have made it. You've made it. You've
Man, in reverse.
You were $40 million. That should be your priority. And the thing is that is disappointing to me. Disappointing. But the thing that is troubling to me is that this man's a father. I thought, because he did have some off-court issues before, and he was always, that type of player to want to be in altercations and stuff like that on the court. And he became a father in the last few years. And I thought, like, okay, this guy, man, no, all three of us are fathers, right? And not saying that we was out in the streets, running wild or whatever, but there was a stark change between us before having children and after having children, right? Like, there was a start, like, even if it was an incremental change or whatever, right? I think there was a change on how you look at life, how you look at ensuring that you are able and fit. I remember, a few years ago, I wasn't in the best headspace, and Justin was like, you got to take care of you. You got to put yourself and your physical and mental health above even your child, because if you can't, Derek speak about it all the time. If you ain't able to put on your oxygen mask first, how you can help anybody when you hyperventilating and you're looking to pass out because you lack of oxygen, right? Not saying that you don't love your children, not saying that you don't want to give your life for the children, but you still have to be practical and logical when you go forward. And to that end, I don't understand how he is not realizing that his off-court activities are jeopardizing the bag. Now, for those of you that don't know, the NBA has a zero tolerance policy, thanks in part to Juan Gilbert Arenas, right? Where if you bring weapons around the arena or any of the facilities or transportation vehicles or whatever for the team, automatic 50-game suspension. Now the Memphis Grizzlies, as we were speaking, there in the top, I think they're either second or third in the West as we speak. They have a chance to make it into the playoffs, which is going to start next month, and get a good ways into the playoffs and make some noise, right? And they were touted to make it to the Western Conference Finals or having a legit chance to make it to the Western Conference Finals. No, if Ja Morant misses 50 games starting from, let's say, today, he's going to miss the rest of the season and the playoffs. And it's going to heavily impact, because it's so late in the season, it's going to heavily impact. He's going to miss at least nearly 30 games, even more than that, in the next season, which is half the season, almost half the season. So no, without because he's a superstar, this boy is talented. This boy is, think of Allen Iverson on crack, because this man, he's very athletic. Not saying Allen Iverson was athletic, but he is very charismatic around the hoop. So no, you have a situation where you have ruined this season. You're going to be running next season. You're forcing the Memphis Grizzlies to make a decision to move you, trade you. I don't know what they could do. Try to find a loophole in the contract to not pay you, right? And then now you go hope and pray that another team picks you up. Now, I know there will be some teams to want to risk it for the biscuit, but if you continually showing that you ain't got a head on your shoulders and you are not about maximizing your potential, which is so high, right? Then I don't know what to tell you. Right? Now, I understand. And Derek you said something that is so poignant here. Because we are all fathers. You see that T. Morant thing, Ja Morant's father? Mm-hmm. That is to me, that is the hugest point you have made. Because this, as much as Ja Morant is an adult, and as much as this falls solely, it stops at him. T. Morant should not be endorsing that. He should not be encouraging that. I understand, now that your son make it, you living vicariously through your son, and you got the swag on, you got the...
Yeah, because he live in the NBA lifestyle too.
He live in the NBA lifestyle. He got the drink. He making sure that he, up for interviews on sideline reporting and stuff like that, making sure he is ever present at ever hype whenever his son does well and the Grizzlies do well. But by the same token, when you got altercations with... Shoot, it don't even matter with whom. You getting up there, you talking that smart, and you go in the situation and tell you, because to me, right, I don't know about you guys, right, but if picturing Reese and the dynamic we have and my son getting an altercation like that there, all I gotta do is give you a look. I would just call his name, I said, Reese Hoyt. He can look at me, I can say, he can know what time it is. You know what I mean? Because that is not who we are. That is not who I am. That is not what I raised you to be. That is not the reflection of who we are as a family. It is not a reflection of us as men, and it's not a reflection of us as Black people. You understand?
But the thing with T. Morant, sorry to cross you, but I'll make this quick. It's puzzling, right? The thing is, I agree with you all, right? But let's look at the background that T. Morant would have given Ja. And from all reports and from what we have seen, Ja Morant was raised in a good way. So then, this is why I don't know whether to put pressure on T or not. Because
put pressure on listen, honestly, dog, I would put pressure on everybody in the county. The boy is that good. He's that special, and he is that the ability he has to generate money.
You gotta protect your goal on your goose.
Because not to cross you too, right? But consider Derek mentioned the top prospects of that draft class.
Right.
Out to the top prospects of that draft class, Ja Morant showing up,
Yep. So this is what I'm saying, Neil. Because Derek did make the point that older heads have been speaking to Ja, and he clearly ignored them. We know for a fact Steven Adams spoke to Ja.
Players only meeting. You gotta love players only meetings.
So Derek made mention of it. The dynamic has changed whether we want to accept it or not. Because now Ja's an adult and Ja is the breadwinner. So like again, and I'm not disagreeing with you because, you know, he seems to be, for lack of a better word, ingratiated in the culture. Like he's all about this life. But at the same time, we don't know if T has told him something because Ja is in control of all the finances and Derek brought it up in the chat. What if he is afraid to say something and then get cut off?
But then no, that is the cart, you're putting a cart before your horse. No. Because look at two things here, right? Let me look at who? Let me look at Kyrie Irving, right? Let's look at players that have fathers that influence them very well. Like we would have seen recently in the NFL, the Kelsey brothers, they were in the Super Bowl, and the heavy influences they have. If we bring it to the black community and black players, let's look at, we had on our show Terrence Mann, who is a guard for the Clippers, right? He was on our show, and his mother, who's a coach in the WNBA, she came on and she talked about the discipline they instilled in the son, the father, and everything like that, right?
Right.
So to me, I think that, and I don't want to place blame or anything. I'm looking for solutions. To me, it has to, if a change has to happen, T gotta tell this man, look, you know, at the risk of being alienated by you and not getting the gravy train, brother man, you have the potential to make sure that nobody with the last name Morant has to work again going down in history in the future. And you have the opportunity to make an indelible mark on the NBA and have your name hanging and posted next to players like LeBron, Kobe, Magic, Shaq, Allen Iverson. You know what I mean? So at some point, and to me, the pertinent question, because I always say, y'all guys hear me say this all the time, the most important question anyone can ask in this reality is why? Why? Once you can answer why, it will inform all the other how, what, where, when. It can filter down to everything, right? Ja, why are you trying to act hard? Even because this was a problem some 20 years ago with Allen Iverson, because he was about that life. And Paul Pierce, he got into some trouble too. You know, he got in an altercation where he almost lost his career physically because he was, assaulted.
Let's go further. Paul Pierce could have lost his life.
Exactly that, right? So like when you look at these things, when you look at situations where players have gotten into some very bad things, bad situations, right? They could have lost their legacy, right? And to me, if Allen Iverson being from that street life, being from that hood life and everything like that, at some point he had to realize, it took him late, took him till 40. But by the same token, Allen Iverson still wasn't trying to start nothing. I mean, he would want to perpetuate something, but he ain't starting nothing. Ja Morant seems to want to start something. And to me, gentlemen, I don't know if it's because as the old man open the porch waving my sick, but you ain't hard when you're beating up a 70-year-old in a pickup basketball game, though. You ain't hard. When you and you man come beat up, when you and you man come to beat up a 70-year-old man, call check. Use Ja Morant. Yeah, use Ja Morant. So all you gotta say is, whoo, man go pull out the SUVs, man go come, man go stomp out that person. A 70-year-old? This 70-year-old big leg shot? Come on, no. What are we doing? Why are we doing it? And why are we? It always fascinated me, gentlemen. It always fascinated me. This psychology behind social media. And the things we will post on social media that we know full well can't make sense to post. I have seen people post guns, illegal laundered money. I have seen people post drugs. Even if those guns that Ja Morant has are legal, why are you showing them off? Why if you live in a country where you can own guns to protect and defend yourself, right? Why would you advertise the guns you got? So the man say, boy, man got a Glock. I see the man got yeah, boy, you look like you got a 9, you got a Desert Eagle. All right, I can buy something bigger than that to deal with he. Like, why are you showing off what you have for? It's like you showing your hand, you're showing your defense. So the mentality is only for the optics and illusions. And to me, I would rather be seen as successful I'd rather be seen as somebody that could turn around not only my life, my family's life, but my community. I'd rather be seen as somebody that, you know how, it'd be a man like, you know how cool it would feel like the NBA gonna make a bust of me with locks? I say, yeah, man, put that in your white people pocket. You know what I mean? Put that in your pipe. You know, put that in your paper. I got my locks and my dreads. You gotta make a bust of me. To me, that is impactful. All the tattoos. Look at Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson, for all his faults and for all the opportunities he would have squandered, he still left an indelible mark on the NBA, whether on or off the court, because he changed fashion both for being trendy and wearing like streetwear and the whole market that came from that, and then also for it reverting to the suits and everything like that, because it was becoming too mainstream and thuggy, and the NBA having had a history of going through the 70s and 80s as being a very problematic league with drugs and alcohol and all sorts of things. They wanted to make sure that they stamp down the button and say, yeah, wear your two-piece suit and come out, because we done with that, right? Now we live in an age now where being fitted is trendy, thank goodness. But Ja Morant wants to, God damn it. But Ja Morant wants to purport this hard exterior, right? Even if he was a man that was a crap baby that came up in the slums, that, you know, had to play basketball barefoot and, you know, had to hustle men on the court just to make money so that his parents could eat. Let's say it was that. There is something to be said for coming from the struggle. You know what I mean? And not ruminating in it. You know what I mean?
Also, Neil, to the point of showing the gun on IG Live, right? Beyond the social media aspect. There is one thing I never thought of that Jalen Rose and Mike Wilbon brought to light, right? Because I don't live that life, so I don't understand. The moment that you flash a gun, you're putting your life in jeopardy.
Yeah,
I'm just wait. You are indicating that you bought it. You bought that life, and not across you. But let's say now, be in an altercation. Now, if you look at what happened to Takeoff, that is the prime example. Takeoff is a man that was always the mediator. Shoot, his cousin, his family was having beef in Quavo and Offset, and he was the mediator for that, telling everybody let me live. And this young man was in a place where he didn't have to be. You know, Warren Sapp to say he was someplace he didn't need to be, around people that he shouldn't have been around, with people that he didn't know well enough or he knew too well. And what happened? He lost his life. He probably had a weapon for him. But all that happened is his entourage say, yeah, one man pull out and start busting, the other man pull out opposite, start busting, and there goes a talent.
He in the crossfire every year with
exactly, and he's the man that had, and he is the man that least about that life, that he was least about purporting this, you know, and them men from the streets. So I don't understand what it's like the bat signal. Hey, bat signal, you see bat signal in the sky, you know that there's trouble, and Batman coming to solve it.
Vengeance.
So vengeance, right? So when you raise your gun now, you showing that you're a bad man and you bought that life.
Technology that could ever come up with. If I shine the bat signal, I should expect Batman, right?
I ain't shining the bat signal because you want ice cream or you want balloons.
I'll say this, right? We all have a mutual friend who said one time, you know, the safest place to be, you're safer in a dub than in other facts.
That's a
because everybody in the dub know what's going on. I know that if I make a mistake and I pull mine, the man next to me can pull his, the people across the room can pull theirs.
And so Mega come out the woodwork like wet ants.
Exactly. So the safest place is a dub. And also to the next part of it too, because we talk about, you know, him not living that life, not growing that life. That's why I find the LeBron James example to be so appropriate here, right?
I agree.
Yeah, even though I ain't a LeBron man, but who's LeBron father? Nobody really
don't know.
It could be Eddie Trivia saying don't. It could be Will Chamberlain.
Hold on. I wish it was me. I got like.
It could be any of me.
I wish it was me.
But nobody knows. But still, he but he came out of that, right?
More father, poverty,
and they went back, right? This fella, he ain't growing at all. He tried his best to get there. So that's why we're talking about these kind of things, right?
It's just isolating, it's stupid.
To Jerron's point, because we gotta find a way to. These are issues that we again, we ain't got $1 million, but it's a level to this thing. So we break it down now. You work hard, you're going through all your secondary school life. You're going through UE, or you might have gone through BCC first, then UE. You get a job, you come up, all of a sudden you earning a certain amount of money and stuff like that. And you decide, you know what, the best thing for me to do, at least we go man that, you know, is setting a risk, trying to do something illegal, get hold with it.
Get lost with.
Yeah, trying to bring in drugs out of port to entry. You know, then kind of like things that don't make sense because you want fast money. And all the other years of effort and work and stuff that you to put into build yourself to where you were before, going through the others. No, your family got to deal with shame. We's 166 square miles, so everybody know you. Everybody know your family. Everybody know your business. So your family shame, you shame. You're gonna be incarcerated. You know what I mean? And
it's so different now.
We all know somebody that went along these lines. So yeah, we understand that Ja Morant young. Yeah.
An excuse, man.
But we still got to look at life, and that's what we can't hear when the night come to make sure that people get these messages, make sure men in particular get these messages so that they don't repeat these same mistakes. Shoot, I never do no drugs in my life because they see the effects of drugs happen. People, they see people like don't say the word. I gotta try drugs myself to know that the bad, you know what I mean?
Jesus. Amen. That's the same thing with me.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to give y'all or bring something that I know is going to hit home as both of you because he lived this life, huh? And I don't mean the Ja Morant or Allen Iverson life, but there is something to be said about listening to people that have been there, done that, people who've come before you. And when you're young, you kind of think, oh, these people just want to talk down to me, or, you know, they're acting like they're above me. And most of the time, that is not true. So I know this is a space for Caribbean men, and I'm going to use this to purport this situation. There is something to be said for hanging with older men.
Mm-hmm.
Jeez, right. There is an advocate for that, boy.
All three of us have played basketball, so I've let that where we have been around older men on the court, where older men have spoken to us. And a lot of times when you're a particular age, it goes in one ear and comes out the next because you think these guys are either bitter or jealous of you, and that's not the case.
Or they're passive, they're praying, so they ain't got the killer mentality or the lion mentality, you know?
And that's not the case. There's a situation where these men are telling you these things because they don't want to see you fall in the same pitfalls that they were in already. They understand because, like it or not, right? The greatest teacher of all time in life is experience.
Yep.
There is nothing new under the sun. Believe it, like there is absolutely nothing.
Shoot. And this situation is proof of that. Only 30 years ago, Gilbert Arenas do the same thing.
Same thing. Same for everything.
Same thing.
And I mean, it worked out for Gilbert. It worked out for Gilbert, but
did it really? Because Gilbert's career went
cut short.
Yeah, but the man stopped paying Gilbert Arenas like 2 years ago or 3 years ago.
But that's
Gilbert,
agent.
Yeah.
Just say that's why I say. But Gilbert is a strange case.
Nothing to do with Gilbert's decision making.
Yeah, he ain't had the head.
So I say that if there are young men in the chat right now, because Derek, Neil, and I have all progressed to that situation where we are now those older heads talking to younger men, and I personally, take, a huge responsibility in that. I like it because it would have been done for me.
I wish it was done. I wish it was done for me. I wish somebody would have, like you look at a lot of things in your life, right? And if somebody had just taken me aside and said, listen to me, right? You got talent in whatever area I see that you got talent, whether it's education, the same basketball, whether it's whatever, right? And the man say, listen, I want you to turn up. Just turn up. We can work on some shots. Shoot, I remember Derek, this is about 15 years ago. There is a man that worked real hard on his basketball game, and he used to be encouraging me to come out and work on my game, and he's like, nah, man, I good. You know what I mean? And he got significantly better where I still remain the same. right? And
So when you
he
have taught to you, is just that you may have ignored them?
yeah,
Or
no, but no, what I'm saying is I'm not only speaking about basketball, right? I'm speaking about life, right?
Yep.
Like for me, a big thing, right? There are two huge things that I wish somebody had taught me about, and that's relationships from a man's perspective, being a husband and being a man, like the day-to-day rigors of what it takes to be a man. And these are things I'm only now learning, and I'm having to learn these from peers. Like for example, both of you are some of my closest friends, right? There, I learned consistency. We have been doing this show for 2 years, and we have been coming here every Tuesday and Thursday to record this because Derek believes in consistency. And I know, and it's like a competing thing, right? I know that if Derek turn up and I don't turn up, I let him know Derek. And I'm sure Derek feels the same way. So it forces you to say, look, this is a purpose. I don't know where this is going to lead to. I don't know what it can be. I don't know accolades or awards, money. I don't know. But the point remains is that you turn up. With you, Justin, you have taught me that through your experiences and what you have learned to be graceful with yourself mentally, to believe in yourself mentally, and to realize that better will come. All you have to do is take care of your mentals and prioritize yourself, right? And to do it in not in a selfish way, but in a way where it is like it's not negotiable. You understand what I mean? And I'm learning those from peers. Justin, you're younger than me. Well, technically, Derek younger than me too, but we ain't getting that. But you are
significantly.
Shut up, boy. You me and you be same age in a couple of months, literally, right? So I have always adopted the policy now as I have gotten older. You are never too old to learn. You know, this talk about being coachable.
Yep.
Being coachable, right? I always prided myself as being coachable, right? And that's not only for basketball, but in life. You have to be willing to take advice from anybody that may come, whether it be man, woman, cat, dog. It does not matter. You can learn. I always believe once your eyes open, you can learn saying. You can even learn how to die, because none of you know how to die. So that's going to be a new process for us. I'm serious. So with this Ja Morant thing, he is on a path that doesn't mean none of us can understand this path. But the important thing now is not about blame. It's not about saying this man's a knucklehead. It's about saying, look, he has his camp, whether it be the older veterans, whether it be the people continue to reinforce, like, bruh, you need to settle down. But most importantly, it has to start with his father. It has to. You come from a two-parent household, you father in your life, you're a man. Shoot. But if LeBron James come along and had a father and doing far better than you, and you can reach,
Most, to be fair.
yeah, and he can, and the thing is, he can reach those heights. Acting, business ventures, shoe deals, movie deals. He could do anything he wants to do.
And that's the world we live in. So the point about the father no Neil, a lot of people don't know this, but I chose not to have my father in my life for my adult period. Like, that was not his choice. I chose not to have him in my life. And there's a part of it that has, I don't want to say I have regret because he's not a good person. But for me, it is that I am only in my marriage now understanding what it is to be a man. And to your point, Neil, part of it is that having this group of friends, the two of you and the rest of the chat, has helped me a lot. My best friend Justin, I've only no understanding what it is, and then through my marriage, every single day I'm learning what it takes to be a man, what it should entail. And I say that now for the listeners and viewers, in that we are of that age where whether you are a father biologically or you're seen as a father figure, be that person for somebody else. Because you would have experienced things that a younger man or a person trying now to become a man has not experienced. And life experiences very crucial in terms of learning. And there are things that you should not have to experience. So I remember going on the court, and I've always been told by older men, you should not get married before turning the age of 35. I used to hear that So sorry, gentlemen. I'll back on that later shortly. But I used to hear that and wonder, these men just being bitter or, just wild and saying, go up there, sow your oats. And it is when they got married just before turning, or it would have been 40 when they got married. It's when they understood really what it meant, or when they got in their 30s. And they were basically seeing, not just biologically, but a lot of men are not prepared
Mentally.
to have
Figure it yourself.
or the responsibility, and your favorite word, guys, accountability that comes with marriage. And I want to bring that point here to this space because, these are the things that y'all talk about. Marriage is not just wedding day. It is not just sharing bills or being in a house or, doing chores. There are so many things that come with that. And I don't think most men are prepared to understand because, marriage to somebody should not be difficult. It really should. I don't buy this thing, but marriage is hard.
Struggle love.
No, that's not. Like, we've been sold this in romantic comedies and particularly sitcoms about how hard marriage should be. It is a work, but it shouldn't be extremely hard. But it does call for sacrifice. It does call for a level of accountability in saying I was wrong, or understanding not just your point of view, but the other person's point of view, particularly taking a step back, especially when you feel that you are right or you have a right to be upset. Take a step back. And these are things as your 20s. Just don't understand because, let's be honest, like, in your 20s, you think you know it all and everything is about.
You know nothing, brother. I am guilty of that. I thought I know it all. I thought I know more than my mother, my father. I thought, the old man talking on the court. I was like, I know it here and I can figure it out. And there's only now I realize I wish I could go back in a time machine and slap myself on the top of my head.
And so for this Ja Morant,
real talk,
right? I'm bringing it home to see we are now of that age where you need to pass on that knowledge, that experience to someone younger than you. I try my best, especially, Antoine Lawrence. I would talk to him about basketball, about things he needed to do. And I don't want to throw him on the bus or anything like that. I just want to use that as an example for someone that we both, or all three of us, knew. Like, to show him this is what you're going to need to do, or talk to him in certain. And I've done that for younger basketballers, not just him. There's a guy he likes, and he is a guy to talk to because he's a sponge. So I'm not going to take any credit because I would talk to him. Every older person will go around talking to him, and he's going to take it all in. And I am sure he is where he is because of the knowledge that he would have gained from older people. One of Larry's boys, what is his name? He is CJ Carl Jr., Carl Thorpe Jr. He's now in college looking to go even further with his basketball. And part of that reason I want to believe where he is right now is because he spent most of his young life scrimmaging with older men.
Mm-hmm.
And the older men taught to him about basketball and also taught to him about the things
life.
But it's extremely important in what you were saying because you are talking about giving the information. I think there's something to be said to being able in a space to receive. Because there are a lot of us, young people, they got some of us old heads too, that we don't, as far as we're concerned, who are you? Me and you the same. What you feel better than me that you could talk to me? And that goes back to what you were saying about talking down. So we got to be in a space to receive.
But not just that, right? I figured what part of the problem, right? Because I'm not going to pretend that part of the problem is not when you're talking to somebody, how you talk to them. So you have to avoid talking down. And in my experience, I realized you have to show them the mistakes you made. So it makes it relatable now, and you're not preaching. You say, you know what? I know it feels like it's talking down to you, but what you're about to do, I did. Exactly. And this is what happened to me personally.
Yep.
So I'm not coming here from an air of arrogance. I'm coming here from, I made this mistake.
Yep.
And I love you to a point I don't want to see you make that mistake as well.
Boy, see that word there, so that love part, because we kind of think I love you, so I ain't gonna say nothing. When it's quite the opposite.
You got to
You know,
say boss. You
got
have to say
something. I know we like to think, yeah, I love you, so I don't want to offend you, but if you truly love that person, you gotta say something. You got to.
You want to see the best for them.
You want the best for them, so you have to say something, you know. And yeah, I see my man Steve in the comment say, yes, he's as if we ever consider writing a book to pass on to the up and coming generation based on some of the content we would have been exposed to from doing the podcast. You're looking for Church to come for me because Church is telling me I gotta write a book. I try to work on it, try to put together all the monologues and make it one thing, but I can't seem to get that done this year with all the things I'm doing, but you never know. All them in one spot.
That's an interesting concept.
You never know. We may get that done one of these days.
Right? But also you gotta remember the space that you're in right now. And I don't like to read.
People don't want books.
But you know, I was thinking about, obviously because of what I do, I was thinking about for my son doing a video, call it a video guide to becoming a man. Yeah. I just wanted to do it because you don't know what life can give you. You don't know what can happen. And you kind of just parse out that information. Like, I really taking my job as a father seriously. Right? Like,
as you should.
As you should, right? Like, I like, if this boy turned out to be weird with, it could only be me and his mother's fault.
Yeah.
I can't blame him.
It's gonna be your fault. That's your fault. Let's keep it there. Let's keep it around.
Let's keep it a butt. Let me keep it a butt.
It's not going to be just your fault. You say that, but like, there's only so much you can do, right? Because there comes a point in time where people are going to make their own decisions. So you can impart on Reese as much as you want. And I believe Reese is a good kid. So Reese should come out good. But you also have to accept when he gets a particular age.
All on
certain influences and things. And the last point I want to make, because I know Derek probably itching to get in the comment section. The last point I can make here is that, you know, years ago, we've all heard this, especially as guys that would have played sports. We have a person, he used to say that sports is an analogy for life.
Oh, yes.
Right? Team sports especially, because it teaches you discipline, consistency, work ethic. It teaches you camaraderie. It builds camaraderie. It helps you to forge your own personality, and it helps you to understand the concept of team, putting others before yourself, especially in the context of achieving a common goal. So it's very interesting to me. That's why this is further baffling to me, because Ja Morant grew up playing sports, right? So I don't understand why he is missing this point and this concept of understanding that he is really letting down his team. He is fumbling the bag, right? He is letting down his community. He's letting down his family by doing these shenanigans. And you're doing this for what? For two people to say, boy, that man Ja Morant, he horrible. He's a real one. I thought, Derek, when you brought up Dave Chappelle, I thought you were going to talk about when keeping it real goes wrong. I thought that was you. This is what this is. Ja Morant is keeping it real and is going horribly wrong.
Horribly wrong. Indeed.
So yeah, I just want to make that point.
Yeah. Carrie Ann says this conversation has me so happy. The power of the brotherly love is amazing. Yeah, we gotta support one another, about one another.
Choice.
Sing about me. Rian says the promiscuous Caribbean life has caused us not to be ready for marriage. Other cultures and places are more prepared at a younger age. That's probably true. And earlier, Dr. Rian was saying peer pressure and popularity is a dangerous thing. Like, you see men in his circle calling him soft, and he ain't a real man because he isn't rough like them. So he took it to the next extreme.
And that happens a lot. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what is called toxic masculinity. That is actually toxic masculinity. Not this, not me and Derek. I just say here talking about, say what these men talking about the women, so it's toxic masculinity. No, toxic masculinity is when you use your masculine influence for negative or reprehensible results. So you thought, this is an NBA, no, you gotta go practice. Babe, you can let us 70. Practice, which is ironic. We talk about Ala Iverson, but then you can say, you can let a 70-year-old punk you 17, dog. I know you're feeling you gotta go and stomp out a 70-year-old. Like, I don't know. I just think that we gotta be very cognizant of the powers we have in our masculine and feminine frame and how we use them for reprehensible results and outcomes.
Yeah, I don't know. I think at some point along the line, you gotta recognize, as I said in my monologue, you gotta kind of grow up faster than your success and your money.
Amen.
You gotta grow up. Anyhow, Folks, it's 9:39 in Barbados and the rest of the Eastern Caribbean. This has been episode 198. Above the Law. Yeah. What can we learn from Ja Morant's ongoing off-court issues? We hope we were able to glean something from the stuff we've been talking about here tonight. We had another interesting discussion. It wasn't along the normal lines of relationships and stuff like that, but it was still advice in there for men, those of you who have brothers, nephews, uncles, fathers. Share the information with them, share the topics with them, so you're talking points with them, because these is things that, you know, it may not be $193 million, but it's
A bag is a bag. A bag is a bag, boy.
Got
Could be a
levels to
purse
this
or a
thing.
Gucci bag. It is a
Yeah,
bag.
they got levels to this thing. So
Yep.
make sure that your sons and your nephews, all them there, got the information and understand that this is a teachable moment, so that they don't fall into the same traps that our friend Ja Morant is falling into. So Justin, my brother, we want to thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you very much for coming through. I just want to point out, I see this villain coming through backdoor here. One Mario Loki, no what he here. A
If
villain.
you said backdoor a villain, it could only be one.
Go to Walmart.
You didn't even have to say his name. You said backdoor.
Yeah, I knew it immediately who it was. It didn't have to nothing. Yeah, big up little man. Good guy.
Good
Right
guy,
there,
good guy.
Right
Talk
all.
I love Mikey Personal.
Mikey no loud. But you see, I wanted to get Mikey on this show because Mikey's a big Ja Morant fan.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, man, big time. So he was in the session, so big up Mike.
I want Mike on the show a day though. We gotta figure out how we can.
Yeah, he's actually the person who pointed out to me that, you know, people be with a pay $350 to get VIP. And we say all the poor people push behind the ear, people with VIP got the hand too. You know, Mikey is another person who's very interested in the psychology of things and why people do what they do.
Yeah.
So big up Mike, man. Good to see you in the house.
Yeah, he went to good school, so you know.
Yeah. He not like the villain.
Not like the backdoor villain.
Yeah, that came in there late. He right up there with Skeletor and LeBron and Galactor and them, man. Anyhow, folks, and again, Justin, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you.
Again, it was a little bit of a different conversation for us, but we appreciate you coming through for sure.
Like, when Derek messaged me yesterday, I was like, yeah, say less.
Yeah. So you want to plug your show, man? You want to plug?
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, plug your show, man.
So yeah, hashtag this Justin. Please put in the hashtag. None of us want Max Kellerman and his awful takes. Hashtag this Justin every Monday night on YouTube. No, the clocks are going to be going forward at the end of this week. So that will be 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. We are on YouTube on Monday night. For our short form content, you can find us on Instagram, you can find us on Facebook, and you can find us on Twitter. Hashtag this just in. If you don't find us, guess what? Not looking.
It's pretty simple there. Yeah, and folks, also a bit more housekeeping. Please remember we got the King's Gathering coming up May the 6th at the Ginger Lily Hall in the Bell Estates. We're going over by the Mannings. We're going to be in their space. Shout out to Kevin and Lee for accommodating us. We're going to put on something really nice over there. We're going to have...
Before we continue though.
Yeah, man.
Before we finish though, Neil cut me off so I can go here and get fresh. This podcast space, I want people to understand, right? That people don't turn on phone in my instance or a laptop and just talk. And I say this to say that these two gentlemen work hard to do exploit. They're not paid for this, but they're putting their time, effort, and money into this situation. And I'm not here to say that they should have won a week game on award, but
listen, next year, my goal is to get every podcast that I produce, this Justin, the BMC, and the Senate to be nominated. And that way, once you got the pool, let's say it's 5 nominees, and I got 3, I got 60% chance of winning.
They've got plenty odds, right? But I say this to see, right? Because being in this space, and for those who don't know, Neil is also my producer as well. I know the hard work that these two gentlemen have to go through to put on a podcast. I know it looks easy. You think Neil and Derek come and just talk off the rip. That's not how it goes, huh? So to give you
That's
understanding,
the easy part.
this is the easy part. So I want y'all to understand when y'all are voting for them, why you should be voting for them, right? What happens on a day-to-day basis, right, is that they have to look for content and look for viable, relatable content. That's the first thing, for topics to talk about. Then you're not going to see on your screen, but on their screens, they're going to have bullet points on the topics they want to talk about, so they're not rambling, talking nonsense. On top of that, they're going to find graphical and video content to back what they're talking about. Those things that Derek and Neil throw on the screen don't magically appear from social media land. They have to go search them, cut them, and it takes a while to cut these clips and put them up. Understand, I'm not just saying this because I have to do this as well. Like, understand. And then it's going to take some time for them to produce, because it can tell you doing the live version of this show is the easy part for them. When they have to go and do the short form content, that takes editing. With the sound tracks, the overlays, the Derek's little cues, those audio cues, that takes editing and work. They are not opening a laptop using a laptop camera.
Muffled up in his laptop thing.
I'm saying.
They're not opening a laptop with Zoom shooting at them and then talking on a free app and just going on. They put money there. You can see the both gentlemen have a mic and headphones. There is production value going into this. So I say this to say, please, when you're voting for a podcast, give these gentlemen a vote, because what they do requires time, effort, money, and effort. They're not just coming, wasting their 2 hours every Tuesday and Thursday night.
Yeah, man. Hallelujah.
Thanks, brother.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much. Yeah.
Boss, me, Justin, and I, we don't just come here and talk the things, you know. We don't make it the rules. We just make sure you know where they are. Man. Be the best version of you for you. We can see you all again very soon. Please note, you can ignore reality all you want, but you cannot ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. Yeah, Ja, keep that in mind. You can ignore reality all you want, but you cannot ignore the consequences of ignoring reality. And we got some real reality coming for Ja there, so that the automatic thing is 50 games. So see you next season.
What the words were? You are free to choose, but you're not free of the consequences of your choice.
Yeah, correct. Correct. But anyhow, folks, yeah, we can be back here Thursday. We can do a show Thursday. We can talk about some dating and thing probably on Thursday. And then again, we'll see how it goes. We got something that's in my brain I'm thinking about. So yeah, please remember, folks. You can see you on Thursday. Peace.
Peace and love. Yeah, let me end the stream here.